Good afternoon, Manitoba Major Junior Hockey League fans to Southdale Arena for a contest between two teams looking to get back in the win column desperately today. In the home team, the St. Boniface Riels taking on the visitors in the River East Royal Knights. This is the mmjhl Game Day pregame show brought to you by Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia, Terrico Goaltenders, and Make Canada Fasteners and Tools. I'm your host of this pregame show, Graham the G-Show Forsyth, as well as your play-by-play commentator, as always, for mmjhl coverage this afternoon. Let's take a look at some results to kick things off on this pregame show, dating all the way back to last Thursday, where this three-game losing streak started for the St. Boniface Riels, losing 6-3, then didn't play all the way until Tuesday this past week here in Southdale on Tuesday night, losing to the Charleswood Hawks 5-3, and then most recently on Friday night in a game that we thought we'd be broadcasting, but due to technical difficulties weren't able to, was the Fort Garry Twins who took care of business, handing the Riels their third straight loss to move them to 4-3 with a 5-3 victory. As for the River East Royal Knights, well, they've been struggling to get in the win column as of late as well, as you could see there, dating back to last Friday, an 8-4 loss to the St. James Junior Canucks, then losing handily to the Raiders Junior Hockey Club 5-1, and then most recently against the Transcona Railer Express. Of course, these are all the games that are going to be played for today. All teams are in action as we take a look at the standings heading into this Sunday action to wrap up Week 3 in the mmjhl's regular season. The Victoria is ahead by 3 points in first place, taking on the defending champions in the St. James Junior Canucks, who it's interesting, depending on what happens with River East today, in that game with St. Vital and St. James, we could see some movement in the standings. Of course, St. Vital will remain in first place until this weekend ends because it's impossible to gain 3 points in one game. The max you can gain is 2. But yeah, Transcona taking on the Raiders Junior Hockey Club today as well, a battle of two teams currently tied in third place, and as you can see, Stonewall, the lone fifth place team right now. But as for the St. Boniface Riels, they're 3 points up on the River East Royal Knights heading into today's matchup. We take a look at how River East has fared lately. They started off the season with a perfect 2-0 record, but that hasn't been the case as of late. As we take a look at these two teams heading in, as for the St. Boniface Riels, they've lost 3 straight. They got to get back to playing a full 60 minutes, and there's been times where this team has shown that, they can dictate play, but it hasn't been as much as of late for this team. The thing about them, though, is they're still having periods where they dominate. They just haven't been able to put the puck in the net as frequently as they were to start off this year. 3 goals in all of their 3 losses to 6 or 5 goals against. So how do you change that? If you're letting up some more goals and you're struggling a bit more to put pucks in the net offensively. Well, as skilled as this team is, and one of the best puck-moving teams in the league, they've been trying to move the goalies around and stuff, and sometimes that ends up in intercepted passes and them not executing on what they need to do. So get to the net, send 2 or 3 guys there, more so 2-3 if you want to get aggressive, get shots from the point, and really get some accurate shots on there and get some more quantity on that. Even though you've been out shooting your opponents, take away the goalie's eyes some more and make it tougher for them to make that first saves, and then you have guys there to get rebounds, right? As for the River East Royal Knights, they've lost 5 in a row after starting the season 2-0, like I said. Limiting big periods against the opposition is going to be huge for them today. They were up 2-1 in their past game against the Railer Express, but the Railers have a 3-goal period. Some of the other teams that have beat this team too have had 4-goal periods, and it ended up being a big difference. And it's going to take everyone today, right? Even though, as we'll show you here coming up, Logan Ash has been fantastic for this team to open up the season, and top-end guys like Reynolds and Captain Anthony Jacob has stepped up too. This team, on paper, being brutally honest, doesn't have as much skill as a team like the St. Boniface Riels. Or maybe they do, they just haven't proved it as of yet. So it's going to take everyone an all-complete team effort today, especially when you have guys out like Andrew Caron on the back end, Easton Lewicki, as well as Liam Urcioli, who has been kind of a game changer at times for this River East team in the past. So it's going to be an all-team effort today. Caden Woloshin is going to get the start for this River East Royal Knights team this afternoon. And as we take a look at the tail of the tape, of course, top three-point getter Liam Urcioli, he'll be out. As of my knowledge, for St. Boniface, they're going to be dressed in a full lineup today. It will be Keaton Woloshin getting the start in net for the River East Royal Knights. For the St. Boniface Riels, not sure if it's O'Sullivan or Dominico. The first period coming up, as well as national anthems here. One national anthem, the Canadian national anthem, on mmjhl game day here live from St. Vital. Or not St. Vital, from Southdale Arena, sorry. I've been broadcasting so much in St. Vital, sometimes you get mixed up. But here, live from Southdale, bringing the first period. National anthems next, as well as the Riels making their way out onto the ice. Enjoy the game, everybody. Hope you stick with us this Sunday afternoon. Well, to answer everyone's question about who's starting for the St. Boniface Riels team, it will be Michael O'Sullivan back in net. Right now, a sub-900 save percentage. He'll be looking to raise that today as he comes in with an 8.80 save percentage. And in the other end, it will be Keaton Woloshin getting the start for this River East Royal Knights club. This game brought to you by McCann Fasteners and Tools, Terrico Goaltenders, and Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia. Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia will be the first period sponsor of all things special teams and really anything else as it scrolls on the screen. But we're underway here as this puck sent into the River East Royal Knights end to start, as the Riels, a team with a really strong forecheck, a really strong cycle game. We'll see if they can get back to that here today, and here early on is out in front. It's sent off of the stick of Avon Cockerell. Couldn't find a teammate though, as this gets sent all the way in deep into the Riels end. Only one camera angle for this matchup today. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, we had 2 on Saturday. Trying to do that as much as often, but sometimes just doesn't work out. As in today, Dylan Bachnet, he sends a stretch pass up to the blue line that gets intercepted by the Royal Knights. And speaking of the Royal Knights, the one time we've seen them on the network this season, speaking of their forecheck, their cycle game, they were able to control at points. Speaking of also forcing turnovers, where they just did there, as it's Dylan Bachnet who tries to find a teammate with a pass, and Connor Davis for going off. Davis able to reach this puck first. The speedy 96 out there with that top line of Trot. Trot from the slot gets that shot blocked, or maybe Wolshin had to make that save. Not quite sure, but nonetheless, we remain scoreless at 0-0. The Royal Knights able to get a break and break this out. Skating in, offside on the play. And Glasson is coming down that left side closest to our broadcast angle. Yeah, like mentioned, this first period brought to you by Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia, Winnipeg's premier sports cards and memorabilia store. Check them out at 995 Miltstegel Drive, as well as visiting their website, cancentralsportscards.com. As into the slot, Cockrell with the pass to number 22, Eric Johnson. This puck turned over high up in the Riels zone. Puck on net, turned aside by O'Sullivan as the Royal Knights. Diddick keep this down low, one-handing this up, which is picked off to the point as sent onto the stick of Avon Cockrell, who tries dangling, and Cockrell can't quite split the Royal Knights defense as the Royal Knights break it up again. It's Reynolds to the high slot. That shot unable to get through, blocked by Slobosian. Down low to Reynolds. That pass over his stick onto Cockrell's. Cockrell now dangling to the middle. Tries dangling past Reynolds, but Reynolds just past the red line, takes that away and sends it in deep. Off the boards to Johnson. Goes to Slobosian. Flipped out to the neutral zone, intercepted by this Royal Knights squad. Reynolds gets possession of the puck now. Now that shot wide of the net off of the stick. Number 22 and Adam Frick. Frick out there along with Anthony Jacob, who's out there with Shea Reynolds. Passes to Frick. Frick played up to the point. Able to get it back now. Dangling. Plays. Pass shot wide of the net off of the stick of Bogue. As that rattles, bounces over the stick, and Lazarenko giving chase for the Riels in the Royal Knights end. Pass sent across onto the stick of Bachnet now, as Bachnet cradled off the boards and sends us in deep before circling back in the neutral zone. And getting into his position as Bachnet in the neutral zone played it back into his own end, tries sending it to the Royal Knights bench. Didn't make it there, as this passed into the slot onto the stick. Lazarenko, or sorry, that's Jackson Filion. Down low, protecting, plays it up to the point. That shot tipped on net, but seen all the way and tracked well by Caden Wallishen, as we'll get a stop and play here. 16-13 remaining. Both goaltenders having to be sharp as this period rolls on in the early stages. So that draw one by Brzezinski up to the point, through a screen, that one into the skates. Brzezinski backhand to the net, loose puck there wide of the net off the shot. Is down low. Brzezinski almost gets stripped, but able to get a pass up to the point. D it goes to Bachnet. Bachnet lowers the shoulder, plays a pass to the net, or a low backhand shot that gets turned away, held in by the Riels. That shot tipped wide of the net now, as into the corner it goes. Riel trying to tie up a man, but this puck able to move its way up and now into the Riel zone, as that long shot turned aside by the paddle of O'Sullivan off the shot of Richardson. So we got a face-off inside of the Riels end now. Line change for the Royal Knights. It's this draw tie up in the circle. Glasson, he's able to get that shot from behind the net, or made his way to the side of the net, and O'Sullivan was there to cover it up. So the Riels play this up. Matthew Trott, aerial pass cross ice. Couldn't find Davis though, as it's the Royal Knights who are able to break their way up. Have to hold the line though, as that's an offside. Glasson off by quite a bit. Leclerc carrying it in. It was Woloshin actually. Off by quite a bit. Caden Woloshin, that is. As Caden loses the draw, or Caden, that is, loses the draw. Sent in by number 39 and Nicholas Miller. It's a give and chase, that top line out for this Riels squad. Give and chase Connor Davis. Puck gets past him onto the stick of Glasson, who's driving to the net. Takes it wide. Oh, can't quite get past, but gets the puck back to Maslow down low, and that shot from the side of the net turned aside by O'Sullivan. And with that, another face-off coming inside of the Riels end. Nice job by Glasson to drive that puck to the net. Got his own rebound off the side of the pad. Side of the net, really, but making that pad save was O'Sullivan. Then making a heads-up play, seeing Maslow is open down low. Making O'Sullivan move to be ready for that opportunity. Played up to Cockrell. Breaking out are the Riels. Getting in the zone is Cockrell. Driving wide. Tries passing to the front of the net. Off the side. Gets it back. Circling down low is the shifty number 27. Pulls the puck to his backhand to continue to move this up top now to Slobosian. Rebound in the slot. Backhand. Oh, turned aside. Didn't even get through for this Riels team. At the point, held in. Cross ice pass attempted to go to Slobosian, who was breaking up into the play off the stick of Jack Smith. Is this pass now? Puck getting past the defenseman and Noah Keating. That loose puck almost chased down by Reynolds, who got disrupted by the stick of Slobosian on the way down. Logan Ash now plays this down low to Reynolds, who takes a bump from Keating. Didick back down low to Reynolds now into the low slot for Didick, but has that stripped away. Logan Ash continues on this, gets it to the point. It's sent down low onto the stick of Reynolds. Big collision before that pass ended up down low though, as this gets sent all the way back into the Riel zone. So it'll be Slobosian, long pass as this gets one touched up. Jackson Filion given chase, but can't quite make it to it as this gets stretched up now to Reynolds, who goes cross ice. That pass ended up passing behind as this gets sent in. O'Sullivan out of his net turns this over. This gets sent up the boards onto the stick of number 66 in Lazarenko, who now decides to pass this cross ice, scores! Well, another thing this Riels team is really good at is creating chances off of the rush. No matter if that's transition out of their own end or forcing turnovers. That time, they transition out of their own end, pass up to Lazarenko, who makes a good decision to, instead of continuing, delays, cuts to the middle a bit to open up that passing seam and connect that pass with more efficiency over to a teammate. As Avon Cockerell makes no mistake, puts it past Woloshin to give this Riels team a one-goal lead, and maybe they have some more here. Dubois, his shot wide of the net. It rims around, picked up by the Royal Knights, but Dubois still out there, gets bodied, taken to the ice, but no call on the play. As that goal brought to you by Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia, Winnipeg's premier sports cards and memorabilia store. So it's 1-0 for this Riels team, making the score. A one-goal advantage for them as this goes down for an icing. But Avon Cockerell, one of the best players on this Riels team this season, started the season hot with a multi-goal game in the first two. In the first one, I believe, it's the Riels Express. Which, by the way, during intermission coming up, we'll have an update on how the scores, how things are looking around the MM on this Sunday. As week 3 action wraps up. That puck covered up by Keaton Wallachan after that shot was taken from outside of the blue line. Sets up a offensive face-off draw for this Riels team as Brzezinski's out there. Wins it to the wall. Played up to the point. Miller fans on this shot. Gets it back though. Plays it to the slot. Turns it over. It'll be the Royal Knights who just passed the red line. Get this in deep as O'Sullivan out behind his own net. Left that for a teammate. This turned over. Tic-tac-toe into the slot. Ends up to the point. O'Sullivan with a good save made. Right pad on the shot of Bogue from the point. As for this Royal Knights team, when they're at their best, they're getting on that forecheck, forcing turnovers. See if they can take advantage of any opportunities too. As big hit by Connor Davis gets this back door, but that just hops over the stick. Matthew Trott, the captain, setting the tone in this game here with 11:07 now on the clock. As that shot turned aside by Wallachan, but dumps his man on the ice, gets the puck back, and a little bit of patience before sending this cross ice, cross crease. That's one thing the Riels, their execution on those plays haven't been the best. Maybe trying to force it a bit too much. Just get shots on net. As that one from the point, but no traffic in front. Washington saw it all the way. As this into the corner. The Riels trying to get it back. Royal Knights trying to get it out of the zone, but they can't. Slobosian, his shot turned aside by the glove of Royal Knights goaltender in Wallachan. Turned over into the slot. Now Davis couldn't quite get it to the front of the net as the Royal Knights try to break it up, but can't quite. As this turned over now, Davis picks up a loose puck, sends it to the slot. Can't quite find a teammate there. But this continues along the boards, out of play. The puck goes. And my apologies for, I keep mistaking the Royal Knights for the Riels Express, you know. Two names in the team name, I guess that's confusing me. I'll try my best not to mix that up. But the Royal Knights, a face-off draw inside their own end, which they lose. Rebound there, given up, but cleared away by the Knights. As, a penalty coming up. A slashing call here. As a Riel lost a stick to number 16 in Leclerc for the Royal Knights. So he'll go off for 2 minutes. I believe it was Brzezinski or Smith who lost their stick. Those two will stay out there. Smith to take the draw. Cockerell, this game's only goal scorer at the point. Maybe they try to get it back to him as he's at the strong side. It does end up there, although not one cleanly. Quickly to the point. It's Lambert. Evan Lambert now loses the puck, but gets it back at the point. As this played into the skates of Smith. Smith surveying options, looking as he goes cross ice. Over top to Cockerell, as Cockerell with some trouble along the boards. Picked up by Lambert. Plays this to Smith. Down low to Cockerell now. One-timer blocked as he made his way up from that point position. But a nice job by the Royal Knights to get in the lane. As for the Royal Knights, their special teams have been a struggle pretty much all season long. 10% on the power play. Evan Lambert from the point. His low shot turned aside by Wallachan. Onto the stick now of Smith as he goes cross ice to the opposite point to Cockerell, who hesitates, circles back. Quick cut move. He goes down low, trying to get it back to Cockerell. This gets to the point to Evan Lambert, who leaves it 4:27 now. Cross ice, one-time row. Nice save by Wallachan to just get across to rob what looked to be almost a sure goal for this Riels team. It's a nice setup, patience by this Riels team to set that up on a power play where they're only at 13%. Royal Knights 78.6%. on the penalty kill with 57 seconds remaining, as this errant pass from down low gets all the way out and into the Riels zone. As played down low off the stick, number 21 in McNaughton. Ty McNaughton, a huge pickup for this Riels team last season near the trade deadline, as Bachnak now kicks this out wide to McNaughton, who goes cross ice. Davis tried unloading, but lost the puck on the way through, as this gets taken away and sent all the way down into the Riels zone. One more chance potentially. It's Bachnak, who backhands us to the front of the net. Backhand shot in tight, turned aside by Woloshin off the stick. Number 10 and Ethan Alsop. As this will set up a face-off with 11 seconds left in the Royal Knight zone. Shot to take it for the Riels, tied up. This gets to the point though, into the skates of Bachnak, kicked it up to himself before going to McNaughton. Down low, side of the net, trying to just jam it in there. I believe number 10, Ethan Alsop. Huge hit as number 8, Padua, ridden along the boards. He stays out there, gets back up, and now he has the puck on his stick. Turns this puck over as he tried dropping this up to Richardson, into the skates, turned over. Reynolds now, taken away, rebound, into the slot. That puck, as it's now whistle blown, net off. Mayhem out in front, as the Riels with turnover into their skates. Reynolds picked it up. Nice job by McNaughton to take away the wraparound chance, so Reynolds found his teammate for a one-time chance. Gets turned aside by O'Sullivan. He's been sharp in this first period so far, as that gets sent out of play. And we'll have another face-off inside of the Riels end. It's Carson Dubois out to take it against Logan Ash, who comes in to this matchup top 5 in goals. Ash into his skates, wins it up top to Reynolds, as that's turned aside by the glove of O'Sullivan. Into the skates now of Slobosian, down low. It's Keaton who played it up. Royal Knights now backpedaling out to defend this puck as it gets in the neutral zone, but sent back in. As trying to close off Keaton, he got rid of that puck right away. Didick laid a bit of a hit on him. Up to Lazarenko now, who tries protecting this puck. Set up the first goal and only goal of this game. This will be played out now past these skates, through the skates of a Riel, but the Riels get it back. Keaton, nice hand-eye to bat this down. Turnover almost forced by Reynolds, as Reynolds gets the puck now down low. Nice forecheck and tries sending this across to Logan Ash, who picks it out of the skates of Brzezinski, but stood up by Slobosian's sticks out of the net, as this gets sent all the way down for this Riels team as they give chase. Sent off the boards. Reynolds gets his stick on it, plays this up. Pass into Maslow, who tried making his way to the net but couldn't. Reynolds now down low. Gets this up top to the point, wide of the net, off the stick of McKay. There's now quick move, settling it down, or the Riels at their own line before turning this over just inside of the Railer Express zone. As this now kicked up, Brzezinski trying to play it to himself, to the slot. That taken away, as it was Parker Carrolls who was the intended target on the pass. Riels just get it into the Railer Express zone now. Go off for a line change. And speaking of, that's Smith, who comes in, driving to the net. Smith on the backhand, can't quite maintain clean possession though, as he gets this up to the point. Miller, his quick shot into the glove of a teammate, played to the front of the net. But that'll be turned over, and working up the other way now are the Royal Knights. It's down the side closest to the Riels boards. They were closed off. But this stretch pass out, taken away by the stick of Maslow. Draw pass. This shot, just high of the net. Almost a good bounce for the Royal Knights as it gets back to Keaton Woloshin now. Carrolls down low. Sorry, it's Glasson. Has that taken away. Smith Kicks it out to Averill. Averill back to the middle. That shot turned aside off of the stick of Cole Davis. Blocked up by the Royal Knights. Just over 5 remaining now as this game heating up with some chances. Shot on net turned aside by Keaton Woloshyn. And we'll get a stop and play here with 5:01 remaining. 12-8 the shots in favor of the Riels. They lead this game as well on your home of Manitoba Major Junior Hockey League. Live streams here, coverage on gshow.ca on gshow Productions. At the point, Averill spinning away, kicks this down low, tic-tac-toe, but fanned on in the slot there by Cole Davis. As this puck gets sent out, Bachnecht off the boards. Sends this to a teammate. That gets sent to the blue line. Short pass, unable to hit in the middle there for Ethan Alsip. As this played into the neutral zone again, but back into the Riel zone, turned over. It's Shea Reynolds now on it, takes it to the slot. Reynolds, he unloads, just high of the net, drew a penalty in the process, and there's a hit afterwards on Smith, who goes after Anthony Jacob. Jacob trying to go at 2 more Riels in the corner. And the Royal Knights having to be careful here because they're about to go to a power play. Got to be careful not to get a retaliation penalty. So it seems like that won't be the case. It'll be 2 minutes for Hook, and it's a nice job by Shea Reynolds to continue to move his feet, get into dangerous ice too at the end of it, which should have negated that power play opportunity that they have coming up here. Draw one by the Riels, but they can't rim it out. Held in by the Royal Knights now. That shot turned aside. Rebound there. O'Sullivan. Somehow, someway 31 makes that save from on his behind. As Richardson at the point now goes cross ice to Dela Cruz. Finds Reynolds now. Goes down low. As that up top again to Woloshyn. He unloads. Nice block by Carson Dubois. 27, Easton Catcher now with it. Plays it down low to Reynolds. Kalen Reynolds now. Back down low to Ash. Up top to the point to Dela Cruz. Dela Cruz kicks it out to Ash. He tries dragging through Slobosian but can't. Carson Dubois comes in for the help and gets this all the way down. And a solid kill here to start off for the Riels, but start off with 3 huge saves from their goaltender in O'Sullivan, who has bounced back nicely to start off this Sunday afternoon. Woloshyn, short pass over. It'll be stripped away as Didick was the puck carrier in the neutral zone. Flipped out just over the glove of Woloshyn at the blue line. There's Richardson. Stick-handled for a bit before dropping it back into his own end. As the Royal Knights look for one more rush opportunity up here. Maybe some more offensive zone opportunity with under 30 seconds left on this power play now. Clearing attempt. Can't quite get out as Maslow. Behind the back pass. Kept it in. It's now down low to Woloshyn. And Jacob helps out. Gets this to the point. Glasson as Glasson gets that up top. As behind the back pass dropped to Allen, trying to play it to Glasson, who is jumping up into the point. Jacob from in tight, fans on it, front of the net. As we're back to even strength. With 2:18 remaining, a good kill here for this Riel squad. Doing a good job of not giving this Royal Knights team anything really dangerous often. And when they needed it, their goaltender, O'Sullivan, making huge saves here. Keeping this a 1-goal lead, a 1-goal game for this Riels team. It turned over in the neutral zone. This gets flipped backdoor, but too high in the air there for Catcher as it didn't bounce quick enough. Turned over as he got pinned. Now cross ice goes to Averill, but this bounce just a bit too strong. And ahead of him is down low the Riels, trying to force a turnover on the forecheck, but a player of theirs gets bodied to the ice. I believe that was number 22 in Eric Johnson. Or no, sorry, number 12 in Jack Smith. It's turned over again at the Riels blue line. Loose puck picked up by Raf Padua. As Logan Ash tried to intercept that pass out from Cockrell, but he headmans this up to Smith as Smith gets ridden out along the boards. This puck sent all the way out, all the way into the Riels zone for an icing. So with that, 1:18 remaining here in the first period of action. Score remains 1-0 for the Riels. They also lead in shots, 12-9 here. Brzezinski will take the draw for this Riels team. Has Keating and Slobosian out with him on the points. Smith, as well as number 17 and Wojtowicz on that line with him. Or sorry, number 4 and Parker Carrolls. As Carrolls given chase now, this puck flipped into the shin pad of Slobosian as this is delayed offside for a moment, but the Riels attacked in again into the neutral zone. Now Brzezinski into a defensive position, goes D-to-D with Slobosian, who gets this pass through in the neutral zone, but turned over again by the Riels. Bodied along the boards was Kalen Reynolds, turned over. Brzezinski now skinning this puck up, has it sticked away though, is now turned over onto the stick of Reynolds into the skates. That pass goes to Didick. As wide of the net into the final moments of play now of this period. The final minute, final 30 seconds as Reynolds tried to dangle through, moves his puck up ahead for Didick, but he'll have his stick taken away by Slobosians. Rimmed around to Wojtowicz as Wojtowicz flips this out behind the head of Carrolls as Carrolls gets bodied along the boards. Maybe a message the Royal Knights sending heading into the next that this is in fact going to ramp up in physicality. But for now, they skate off the ice with a 1-goal deficit. I guess a positive for them is they didn't give up the big period. You know, they were able to draw a penalty in there as well and get some big saves at times from Keaton Wallachan. I think playing physical along the boards is something that, you know, we saw from the Royal Knights as well, but something that I think the Riels will take all day long, as they love to get on the forecheck. They love to get physical, use the body, and work the puck up to the points and get shots from there. I thought the Riels did a decent job of that, and also, as we saw in their first goal, right? Like, you know, talked about how this team got to get shots to the net, but when you've lost 3 straight, go to what works, and it hasn't always been there. The chances they had, like on that rush opportunity that they had, that they capitalized on for their only goal over to Avon Cockerell, but, you know, winning in your defensive zone, chipping the puck out and getting the speed, and winning on those odd man rushes, capitalizing, is maybe what this team needs to get back in the win column. More of that, and it was created beautifully there for that first goal by Lazarenko. And Aiden Lazarenko, that is. But, you know, Michael O'Sullivan as well, coming into this game with a sub-900 save percentage at 880. You know, perfect in this period and made 3 huge stops on that lone power play that the Royal Knights had. And, yeah, I mean, for the Royal Knights at times, we're seeing what happens when they, you know, pick up those loose pucks off of sloppy puck play and even getting the forecheck themselves. This could be a dangerous team. It's just about more consistency for them. Do the Riels come out with the same type of consistency we saw from them, you know, throughout that period of play for the most part? And do the Royal Knights, do they have another year to give here coming up? We'll have to see. We'll update you on everything that's going on around the league up until this point on this Sunday coming up during this intermission. You're watching MMJHL Game Day here on G-Show Productions, presented by Macon Fasteners and Tools, Terraco Goaltenders, and Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia, specifically for that first period. Royal Knights looking to get back in the win column, as well as the Riels here after 20. Riels lead the Royal Knights 1-0. We'll be back here soon, folks, in about 5 minutes or so, I'd say. Stick around. Welcome back into Southdale Arena here on mmjhl game day from Southdale Arena as the St. Boniface Riels lead the River East Royal Knights 1-0 after 2 periods of play here. The goal scorer, Avon Cockerell, assisted by number 66 and Aiden Lazarenko. So we try to load up our Wi-Fi here at Southdale Arena. But yeah, in terms of how that first period went in terms of the shots, 13-9 for the home side in the St. Boniface Riels. Some big saves from their goaltender in Michael O'Sullivan. Saw, the effects of this St. Boniface Riels forecheck at times. Did a good job of getting possession and moving the puck back to their points, looking to get to the slot more often with their passes. But the Royal Knights a good job of taking that away at times. The Royal Knights taking advantage of some, sloppy puck management in the feet of this Riels team, and guys like Kalen Reynolds for them really driving the bus in that first period for the Royal Knights. And yeah, talk about how it's going to take everyone for this Royal Knights team in the first period to win this game. Well, it certainly doesn't hurt when you have some of your best players stepping up and creating some of the chances that they had in that first period of play. But as for the Riels, a team that maybe at times during this losing streak has struggled to work that puck and complete that perfect play in the offensive zone while setting up for their scoring chances. Well, look to the rush every once in a while as this team can get to speed, one of the fastest in the league, and end up making this Royal Knights team pay by chipping it past their defense and coming in with numbers. The Riels, one of the best teams at scoring on the rush in the league, showcasing that during that first period. As for what's happening from around the rest of the league, well, in the battle of 2 teams that have won 3 games in a row in the Transcon Railer Express and the Raiders Junior Hockey Club, a big first period for the Railer Express. They put up 4. They're now up 5-0. As the third period's about to get underway there for the Fort Garry Twins, up 6-0 with 4:49 remaining in the second period over the Stonewall Jets. Gorchinski and Halamandaris with 2 goals in that game. Balshaw back in the lineup, and Hugen with the goal as well. And as for the St. Vital Junior Victorias, up 2-1 with 15:31 remaining in the second period. Ashton Romanuk just cut into that lead recently in that second period as St. Vital was up 2-0 after 1. And as for the Royal Knights, a big problem with their losing streak has been giving up a big period in terms of goals against. Multiple, that is, against. That didn't happen in the first. We'll see if the Riels can turn it up and if the Royal Knights can also find another gear here as we're underway for the second period of action. As we put our sponsors back up top into the slot. That puck onto the stick of Davis as he's turned aside by the crest of Wallachin. And a face-off to the blocker hand side of Wallachin here in the Royal Knight zone as Davis gets this up top to the point to Buckneck. Sends that down low, almost gets onto the stick of number 21 in McNaughton, but this puck ends up all the way out and picked up by the Royal Knights at the Riels blue line, but an offside called on the play. As face-off will be just outside of the Riels zone, closest to our broadcast angle, as this draw won by the Royal Knights. Dela Cruz maneuvers before putting the pass into the skates of Masler. Turned over into the neutral zone, carrying it up now McNaughton, trying to weave through Dela Cruz, but Dela Cruz stands up while the McNaughton. Loose puck picked up by Davis, but the Royal Knights survive that. Maslow loses the puck, picked up by Caden Wallachin, though, as Wallachin maneuvered in down that wall, but cut off finally as the Riels work this up. Icing on the play as that pass came from before the red line. Deeming it to be fair play for an icing, which it was, as we got a face-off draw all the way inside of the Riels end. And for Connor Davis, just getting this out. It ends up back into the Riel zone as they go DDD off the boards, onto the stick of McNaughton, now having some trouble with it as it's a bit behind, ends up taking this back and backhanding it back into his own end. Played up to Avon Cockrell now as Cockrell feeds this through to Davis. Oh, backdoor feed, can't quite go. That's turned aside by Wallachin. That opportunity off the stick from McNaughton into the skates. Number 89, Brzezinski now has this turned over, played to the net as O'Sullivan will cover it up. But Avon Cockrell, he's just been seemingly at the center of attention of everything the Riels do offensively. Him, of course, Davis leading this team in points heading into it, but just threads a beautiful saucer pass to Davis to really have that chance, even have a possibility of happening at the first place as the Riels try to go backdoor again. But a nice looking play set up by three of arguably, St. Boniface top three players, that is. As this sent all the way down. Short pass intercepted. Try getting that to Shea Reynolds, but could not. Number 5 and McKay got that in deep as it's rimmed up to Averill. Has this taken away as it's sent down low. To Cockrell, my apologies. As picked up by the Riels in the neutral zone. It's Smith, tries unloading a shot, tries getting into the net now, into the slot. Picked up awkwardly by Cockrell, but now he dangles through. Cockrell with 3. Ronates on him, tries getting that down low, loose puck. Picked up now onto the stick. Cole Davis wires this from the side of the net. As this turned aside by Wallachin with 17:01 remaining left on the clock. Cockrell, we've seen the passing ability, and we've also seen his really high-end puck handling ability there as he can, fake and pull the puck wide on you. He hits you with so many quick moves, quick fakes, and also showcasing his skill there at stick handling in tight quarters as he had 3 River East Royal Knights draped all over him. Still able to move that puck and continue positive possession for this Riels team as a penalty coming up here on the play. I believe it'll be coming up to Dela Cruz. That's another slash. Shane penalty here. We're going to bring up goaltenders. It's one of our second period sponsors, your goalie's personal video review service. Keaton Wallachin looking to be sharp here. Against the Riels power play, like the Royal Knights, to struggle quite a bit across to Davis, a bit in the skates. He circles back up top. Oh, almost a mispass there it was. So this gets called on an offside. Some displeasure from behind me in the crowd. But yeah, a team that honestly, you look at the talent they have and the way they move the puck. They were operating at a high level to start off this season, but during this losing streak, maybe some lessons learned. I'm not sure if this team has maybe, taken the competition they played against for granted. I'm sure they haven't, but, can you maintain your same consistency from the first whistle to the next is going to be huge, to the last, as I should say, is going to be huge for this Riels team. And right now, not getting much positive work in on the power play as this gets sent all the way in deep once again. With a minute 10 remaining here on the man advantage. Puck sent across. Is trying to dangle towards the net, losing that puck though. Trying to get on it again is McNaughton. His down low truck comes in to block that clearing attempt as the Riels hold this in now. Off the wall, this gets to McNaughton. Down low, Ethan Elsip, rebound there! No, nice stick in the lane from Jacob as Davis thought he had a sure goal, I'm sure, but I can assure you this one stayed out as it's the clutch stick of the captain, number 19, and Anthony Jacob, who gets in the lane to deflect that out of play. And draw one by this Royal Knights team is being hounded on his bogue now. 3 Riels players coming in down low, but they lose for now. Now coming in to get it is Avon Cockrell. Cockrell gets this up top to Brzezinski, up top to Lambert, but he gets stripped away. They didn't work that puck far away enough from each other to create space. Is now a chance for the Royal Knights coming down, but they get that taken away down low. As it's the Riels now who break up the other way. Trying to try this again. This time feeds it up to the point. Lambert, his shot just wide of the net. 10 seconds remain. Jack Smith up top now. Crisply across to Lambert. His shot through rebound. Onto the stick now of Avon Cockrell, who cuts back, circles up top, tries getting the pass across to Smith, but good stick from Anthony Jacob as we are now back to even strength. The Royal Knights trying to force turnover. They do, backdoor scores! Well, once again, the big-time players for this River East Royal Knights team stepping up, and this time it's the captain and Anthony Jacob. First off, saving a goal on the power play that the Riels had, and having this game remain being 1-0 by getting this stick into the lane of that chance in tight by Connor Davis to send out a play, and then getting in on the forecheck there, forcing the turnover, the possession into the River East Royal Knights' favor, and feeding his teammate. I believe number 12 it was who scored, and Lane Richardson. To set this up as a tie game now as that pass behind Ralph Padua. It's 1-1 with 14 minutes on the clock now. 13:59 as that icing gets called. It's maybe for this Royal Knights team finding new life. Positive momentum from their captain. Putting the team on his back right now, number 19, Anthony Jacob. As Logan Ash in to take the draw. The youngster for this Royal Knights team loses it. Number 19 and Carson Dubois. Paul Castus going out with some reliability on the forward group is one of the harder working lines for this Riels team specifically. And can also do things like that, forcing turnovers in the neutral zone as Filion couldn't get that in deep. Loose puck now picked up by Maslow. His shot turned aside by that left shoulder of O'Sullivan from the point. That shot wide of the net from Logan Ash. It's into a defensive position. Ash now jumping up into the play, trying to get this puck back, and he does as he tries sending this down low. It'll be cut off. As now jumping up in the play is Glasson from the point. Glasson protecting this puck and shielding it. Drops it to the point, quickly over to Allen. Off that D-to-D feed as he gets this down low. As now sent behind the net. A Riel and a Royal Knight battling. This puck trying to get it out now are the Riels now with speed. It's Carson Dubois in alone on motion. Backhand, oh, denied. Trying to go 5-hole. But number 1 wasn't having that. It's played up to Maslow now as the Royal Knights go up the other way. Turnover off of that behind the back. A draw pass into the slot. As Bachnek turns it over down low now. Maslow trying to play this into his skates to protect it. He protects it in the corner. Spinning off of a check. Gets that down low. Cycle now for this Royal Knights team. Rebound given up by O'Sullivan onto the stick of Kalen Reynolds. who works it down low. 18 onto his knees now, falls there. It might be Anthony Jacob, actually. The captain back out. That shot just turned aside in tight by O'Sullivan now as this is cleared out. Chasing it down, McNaughton. He stops up, loading up, fires. Oh, turned aside by that blocker of Keaton Woloshin as the Royal Knights now try to break it out, and they do. Just a track meet going on right now at Southdale. Drop pass, but turned aside by this Riels team. Now they got number 7 the other way. It's kicked out to Davis towards the net as he was trying to find Carrolls, but just out of reach for him as McNaughton plays it up to the point. Onto the stick of Carrolls again, loses sight of it. So it ended up behind him. Frick just dumps this into the neutral zone as Alsip turned it over into his possession down the right side. As turned aside, had that. Alsip now bumped into the boards. This goes all the way down for, I think, is a much needed icing for both of these squads, as well for myself up here. So it gives me some time to catch my breath. As face-off will be to the glove hand side of Woloshin. It was Richardson who ended up scoring that most recent goal for the Royal Knights. Dylan Buckneck scoring the only goal for the Riels, as well as we're tied at 1-1 in the second period of action, brought to you by Terrico Goaltenders as well. Speaking of goaltenders, save made there by Woloshin on that chance of Evan Lambert coming down the middle of the ice. As McKay has some words for Lambert on his way back to the bench. By his facial expressions, didn't seem like it was the prettiest words that came out of number 5's mouth, as all Evan Lambert does is shake his head. So remain out there. It'll be Carson Dubois to take the draw against Logan Ash, as Ash will win this draw to Delacruz. As Delacruz off the backboards goes to his teammate and number 10, Papanakis. As puck sent all the way down to the Riels, and they are forced to go D to D before flipping this out back into the neutral zone. Now Delacruz works this puck up. Oh, Woloshin reverse hit laid there on Miller, as this ends up into the corner in the Riels end, spinning away from the check, and now is Bachnek. Or no, number 17, sorry, and Wojtowicz. But a penalty will be coming here, as some good energy from this Royal Knights squad. Lambert will be going to the penalty box for this Riels team. That hit really getting them going. The reverse hit from Caden Woloshin. As the team got some good looks on their lone power play in the first. 10% coming into this one. Maybe those are some positives to build off of, but a big positive for the Riels to start off this penalty kill. As they get a block shot, it's Allen from behind his own net. Starting this breakup out to Glasson, who kicked it out wide to Jacob. Jacob strips this puck away again, sends it down low to Glasson. Jacob also down low with them for some help. Glasson now pinned up along the boards as this rolls along the boards closest to us into the slot. Now Glasson to the net. Jacob there banging away at it. He gets ripped away from the front of the net now, as the Riels in to protect their goaltender and O'Sullivan, who's strong, of course, to cover that one up. But we will get a face-off just outside of the Riels zone again. We're up 1-0, now tied in this one at 1 apiece, as they are back onto the penalty kill here, trying to rim this all the way out. It does, strong enough to get down, as Woloshin will be out of his own net. Connor Davis in the area, circles back though. This in Woloshin's feet, gets it out to Delacruz now, as a minute over that has gone now in this power play. Connecting into the middle, but can't are the Royal Knights as this intercepted by the Riels. Davis with speed spins, backhand to the point, but that one unable to find Ethan Alsip. But the Riels with some time and space to clear this one down, and they do, with 35 seconds now remaining on the man advantage. As Dela Cruz misses Ash completely with that pass out, as it allows for the Riels to dump this back in once again. There's maybe one more rush opportunity at that for the Royal Knights on this chance, on this this 2-minute power play. As they stretch this up, maybe here's the chance they're looking for. As this drop, Glasson trying to find Richardson, but he couldn't. Here come the Riels breaking down with some speed. Wojtowicz sends it across, feeds it, and not wide of the net. Off of the stick of Jack Smith. We're back to even strength. No shots on net for the Royal Knights there as a stick taken away. Their bench calling. Maybe they're calling for their players out for bad line changes. That's his goal. Score, Jack Smith. On an odd man rush opportunity once again for this Riels team. It was a 3-on-1 developing. And Smith uses his teammates as decoys that time as he opens up Wallishin and knipes it. Top blocker hand side. As we now got a 2-1 game here at Southdale Arena, the home side regaining their 1-goal advantage. So much commotion was going on from that Royal Knights bench. Even distracted as myself up here as that shot from the slot turned aside. Low right pad. Turned over again though. Brzezinski trying to go across to Cole Davis. Was ready for the one-timer. As a penalty coming up again here for this Riels team. Maybe a penalty coming to this Royal Knights team too, as that stick got slashed out of the hands. It's a 6-on-4 for the time being. Shot on net, turned aside and into the stick of a Riels player, and Lambert out in front is coming in some commotion. As a Riel gets dumped onto the ice now, is a bunch of Royal Knights in front of their own net. We're going to be at least seeing a Riel go into the penalty box. We'll be seeing that for the Royal Knights as well. Looks like there'll only be one man going to the box and sending this Royal Knights team back to the power play. Or this Riels team back to the... Yeah, this Royal Knights team back to the power play. The Riels back to the penalty kill. As this gets sent in, backhand flip. But first on it will be Keating, whose rim out attempt not long enough or far enough at first, as there's a penalty drawn there by Dubois, who a great job by him to chip that puck out. Let's just explain that Keating's rim out wasn't strong enough. The stick of Dubois able to punch it out of the zone, and he continued up with some speed, got his legs moving, and drew that penalty that we see eliminates this Royal Knights power play opportunity. Won't be much of a power play afterwards for the Riels in terms of the time they'll have, as it'll only be 15 seconds, but right now it'll be 4-on-4, even strength. Is McKay from behind his own net. Gets a pass up to Ash, as Ash will be pinned along the board. Slobosian now jumping up into the play. So it'll be to McNaughton. McNaughton gets cut off, and now it's Maslow along with Ash behind him. 3-on-2 developing. 4-on-3 now as Ariel going off for a line change. It'll be Avon Cockerell, who gets back into his own end, loses that puck for a split sec, trying to maneuver his way past, spinning one way, then the other, tied up. Avon Cockerell somehow muscling his way through, gets a pass cross ice, allows for this chance for the Riels coming in. That shot from Keating turned aside from Woloshin. But that, once again, we've talked about him so much today. I'll mention his name again, 27 in Cockerell. With good strength and fending off the Royal Knights forecheck and able to skate that puck out strongly and send that cross-ice pass into the zone where this Riels team would set up that backhand pass behind the back onto the stick of Ethan Alsip, who has that blocked up, trying to get that through to a teammate. Down low for Ethan Alsip. Into the slot, that shot just fired wide by Jack Smith, who is looking for his second in a row, second of the afternoon. As Cockerell's pass over to Smith, unable to be handled as this deflects into the Riels bench. Got another stop and play here. 23-14, the shots in favor of this Riels squad. So they keep this line out there of Smith and Cockerell. Puck, this draw won by this Royal Knights team, as it's sent in deep behind the Riels zone, behind their goal line. So it'll be up to Avon Cockerell, who Cockerell trying to dangle through, feeding this through attempting to Ethan Alsip. Right afterwards, as you saw right there, this puck flipped up into the ceiling. So we got a stop and play. Face-off will be coming inside of the Royal Knights zone. 4 seconds remaining in this 4-on-4. Cole Davis to take the draw, along with Jackson Filion out there. As Cole Davis loses this draw, sent all the way down by the Royal Knights. No icing on the play. There is an icing on the play, as I believe they sent it down before the penalty was over, but the refs didn't see it that way, obviously, as a face-off set up for this St. Boniface team inside of the Royal Knights end. If you can get possession of it, maybe you can use this last little bit of the power play to control, which they do. Alsip unloads, rebound there, banging away at it are the Riels, but can't get it past Woloshin, as we're back to even strength. As Filion getting some hands in with Anthony Jacob, as both players skate away. Like I said, back to even strength for both sides here now. It'll be Brzezinski out there along with Filion and Cole Davis. It'll be Caden Woloshin out to take the draw. Woloshin wins it to McKay at the half wall as he plays it across. Number 4 in Boak, who gets us out after taking a hit into the corner. Evan Lambert challenges a Royal Knights player, as now a Royal Knights player gets dumped there in Caden Woloshin, but Woloshin back up to his feet, spins towards the boards. This gets it played up to Boak at the point, glove down by O'Sullivan, as O'Sullivan maybe took a bit of a tap afterwards with a two-hander. I don't think there was anything intentional about it there, though, from the captain and Anthony Jacob, as he was just trying to move away from the pile in front. So he'll be out to take this draw still for this Royal Knights team, is trying to dig away at it in the skates. He does end up getting possession of it and rims this to the opposite side, as it's along the boards, being worked down low in the Riels zone. As moving it to an outlet man, and Trott ends up firing this to Connor Davis, as Davis takes a bump near the blue line. As down low, Didick going to battle with the Riel. Ends up going to the ice. This ends up down low again for Didick, as he surveys his options, has this intercepted onto the stick of Trott, who's breaking in with speed, cut to the middle, but lost the puck, and that forces an offside. Delayed offside that they cleared the zone for. Huge hit there, forces a turnover to Trott. Plays it into the skates of McNaughton, who loses it. Played back to McNaughton, though, as he fires, scores! Well, for time, McNaughton, a little give and go with the point man, and gets it back down that right side. Maybe was debating on passing that to the middle, but thought, hey, I like my shot line a bit better. A crisp snap shot into the back of the net, that right corner. Too much for Woloshyn to handle. It's a 3-1 score now in this game, a 3-1 lead for this Riels team. Matthew Trott, his line mate, getting the assist on the play. So with 3:24 remaining here in this period of action, 25-15, the shots in favor of this Riels team. They lead it 3-1 right now, looking to add to their lead in the final minutes of this period, I'm sure, as draw won by the Riels. Cockrell up to the point. That shot turned aside by Woloshyn. Rebound given up by cleared away for the time being by this Royal Knights team. Trying to go to the side of the net there with a pass was Keating. It'll be turned over now onto the stick of Woloshyn. Smith can get that back up to a point. Man, Riels come back in though as Smith, unloads. Didn't think it was in his wheelhouse. Cockerell almost got that shot to the net, but could not. As he gets possession of it back again to the point. That pass a bit too much for his point man and Slobosian to handle. But Slobosian laying a hit, making his presence felt just outside of the River East Royal Knights blue line, as Cockerell able to get this puck in strong on the forehand protection. In the neutral zone, Slobosian had to battle with the Royal Knight or two there. And stands up to another Royal Knight as he lays the shoulder on Maslow. This will be a turnover forced for the Riels. This will be a shot in tight, turned aside by Woloshyn. Turned to the point, trying to go to a low slot. As Ethan Alsip to Cockerell, but couldn't find him. Played down low. Cockerell wins that battle to the puck. Past Dela Cruz. Now getting past number 10. Walks into the slot. That shot turned aside by Woloshyn. So on that one, able to maneuver his way past, of course, Dela Cruz and number 10 in Papanakis. With a minute 55 here left remaining in this period. Score 2-1 in favor of the Riels as they win this draw. Getting to that loose puck. Number 8 now in Cole Davis. Tried throwing it to the side of the net but couldn't. Now the Riels pick this up. Filion to a D. Alsip to a man. That shot turned aside. Boknek jumped up into the play, which forced Brzezinski to come back to play defense and does a good job of it. Closing off that angle on that break-in opportunity for this Royal Knights team. As now puck played, short pass to number 88 and Cole Davis, who cuts in the middle, loses possession of this puck though as he lost a handle on it. As this gets played to Richardson, only goal scorer for the Royal Knights in this one. Ended up going wide of the net. Allen, his shot now turned aside by O'Sullivan as he came out to make that save. With 1:05 remaining now in this period. 3-1 the score in favor of the Riels. 29-16 they lead in the shot totals. As this draw will be won by the Riels in their own end. We're officially into the last minute of the play. Flipped up into the neutral zone. That pass connected onto the stick of McNaughton, who delays, surveys his options. McNaughton down low along that left face-off circle. The Davis wraparound chance for Davis, but turned aside. Trott try getting the rebound. Unloaded from the point. Now that shot from Lambert turned aside by Woloshyn. It's a face-off set up to the glove hand side of Woloshyn now. Draw one by the Royal Knights for the time being, but the Riels got to the puck first down low. Back to Davis. That was into his glove. Davis gives a bump to number 5 in McKay. This puck now goes down low. It's Matthew Trott behind the net, fending off A few Royal Knights players got that out in front, but didn't find a teammate. 17 seconds left. Back down low. The truck goes to the slot for Davis with that pass, but 2 Royal Knights were there to cover it up. 8 seconds remaining now. Riels get this puck back. Maybe another chance. Oh, Lambert trying to go inside, outside, but stood up by McKay into the dying seconds as that buzzer sounds. As Parker Carroll's sitting on the ice at the end of that all. John's still going on at the blue line with Shea Reynolds and number 21 in McNaughton. As we go into this third period of play here now, they'll be coming up shortly, with the Riels up by a score of 3-1. We will have analysis from this second period and from this game so far, as well as an update on what's happening around the rest of the mmjhl on this Sunday. So you're watching Manitoba Major Junior Hockey League game day here on gshow Productions on gshow.ca. The home side, the St. Boniface Riels, up 3-1. 30-16 in the shot category as well after 40 against the visiting Royal Knights, as both these teams look to end somewhat long losing streaks here to start off their seasons. Welcome back into Southdale Arena as we're just about to get set here for what should be, as I always say, an interesting third period of play here. It seems like physicality, the chippiness after the whistles in this one is, ramped up. And the score in this one has ramped up as well, as it's 3-1 in favor of the St. Boniface Riels. They lead 30-16 in the shot category as well after 2 periods of play. It was Jack Smith who ended up scoring a goal in that past period for this Riels squad. Of course, it started off with the Royal Knights tying things up, courtesy of Richardson scoring a goal in number 12 in Lane Richardson. And in terms of the goal scorers for this Riels team, it was McNaughton as well as Sukut. As he wears number 12 actually today, Reeve Sukut for this Riels squad. So apologies about that. I was on the game sheet, said Jack Smith. But in terms of, before we get into some final thoughts from that second period, these scores from around the rest of the mmjhl, as it's a 6-1 lead right now for the Railer Express over the Raiders Junior Hockey Club. D'Souza with the only goal for the Raiders. Evan Turner with a hat trick for the Railer Express today, so big game for him. As for the Fort Garry Twins, with 6 minutes remaining in the third period, they hold a commanding 7-0 lead over the Stonewall Jets in a game with not too many shots. 22-16 in favor of the Fort Garry Twins. And then, of course, in this one, 3-1 for the Riels. 3-1 for the Victorias over the over the St. James Junior Canucks right now. Romanek with the only goal for St. James. Lee, Edwards, and Lee with the goals for this Victorias team. The second place team in the league, as we show you the standings right now, will be taking on the last place team in the league tonight in Morris, Manitoba, as the Charleswood Hawks will be heading over to face off against the Pembina Valley Twisters. Puck drops at 7 p.m. tonight at the Morris Multiplex there. As for the stats leaders heading into this afternoon's action as well, as we could see, the Vics owning the top of the leaderboards right now. But Logan Ash coming into this game, top 3 in goals, tied for that. And as well as if we look at the point leaders and goalie leaders here, none for these two teams this afternoon that are in the top 5, but that could very well change as this season goes along. And yeah, as for the two teams here, as we get pretty much set for both these teams to come on, as the refs are currently putting the nets into their bearings. Yeah, it's been a game so far where we've seen how dangerous this Riels team can be coming in on the rush. And if they're able to gain possession through the neutral zone, cleanly getting past and working in and establishing the zone, we've seen some great things happening from them this afternoon in that regard. We've also seen the River East Royal Knights also going in that direction of flipping the puck into the neutral zone and hoping to force turnovers off of that, right? So a lot of flipping of the puck in this game this afternoon. It's, benefited both teams at times, especially the River East Royal Knights on their goal, as they hounded the Riels defenseman at the blue line there and ended up creating a 2-on-1, which of course Lane Richardson finishes off. But yeah, for both of these teams, like I said, coming in for the River East Royal Knights, it's going to take all, of that roster to beat this Riels team today to put in an all-around effort. Their players have been putting in an all-around effort. You can see it. Both teams have been working hard all game long. It's just you're going to need something a bit more here, and you're going to need your special players to step up, like the Kalen Reynolds, like the Anthony Jacobs of the world. You're missing some key players today, one in Liam Urchioli. So how do you get a guy like maybe a Logan Ash to step up his game even further, right, being this team's leading goal scorer heading into this game? How do you get your vets to step up? Will they step up in this period? And for the Riels, we talked about them playing a consistent 60 minutes in this game today. They've done that for the most part, gaining more offensive zone time and more consistency in that area as this game has gone along, creating some really good chances in that second period and continuing to get chances off of the rush and capitalizing off them. Like I said, a team that is so good with their speed game and so good at utilizing that. Even when they haven't been scoring, they've been making things tough on the River East Royal Knights in that aspect. As we're underway here for period number 3, 30 seconds in, as Dylan Bachnek picks this up just past the red line, sends us in deep. Expect for a lot of chip-ins and dump-ins for this Riels team in this period. As a chance almost forced into an offensive zone chance for this Riels team there. But yeah, expect for them to dump it in a lot and get after it. Anything they can do to keep this puck away from their own end as they look to defend a 2-goal lead and maybe even extend it. As this now picked up by the River East Royal Knights. Caden Woloshen tried to put that in with one hand, but had his stick disrupted as this ends up out of play off of the netting. This face-off will be to the closest angle of our broadcast angle, just outside of the Riels zone, as Evan Lambert now picks up this loose puck, takes it behind his net, and he'll go for a skate with it. Makes a move past number 14, or number 24 in Glasson. Before this one, a delayed offside for the Riels in the Royal Knight zone. Face-off won by this Royal Knights team. Onto the stick of Dela Cruz. As Dela Cruz banks it behind his back, it allows for his team to chip this out, and given chase with it is Glasson in on Keating, who rims this around, completes a pass up to Avon Cockerell, who ends up taking a bump into the boards after fanning on that pass attempt cross ice. This gets sent in deep by Sukit now. So Reeves Sukit in for Jack Smith this afternoon, as this will be taken away. Wojtowicz goes to Sukit. He unloads a shot that gets turned aside by Woloshin. Tries getting to the point. It's Sukit. Down low. Sukit ends up losing possession of this now. Gets past all the Riels players. And onto the stick of Ash as he's rubbed out by Sukit. Avon Cockerell gets closed off by 3 Royal Knights, as the Royal Knights able to turn this up into their own possession. Onto the stick of Maslow as Maslow tries to break into the net, takes a hit to the head, and goes after a man afterwards, retaliating on Keating. Happened so fast he might not have caught him exactly in the cage, but yeah, his cage is off actually, as it's come undone. As that off the post now, trying to regain my thoughts, is now finally the penalty will be called, as it'll be the retaliation penalty going towards Maslow after he cut in, after sliding that puck through with one hand to try to complete the dangle. It's always the danger with that. You could get laid out coming through. He did there. I believe that Keating did catch him in the helmet, so that brought the response from Maslow. But yeah, the refs usually always call in the retaliation penalty, always catching that, and Maslow getting napped for that. 2 minutes for roughing on the call as we're almost 30 seconds into this power play as Bachnet loses an angle. You know, it spins away from Ralph Padua. So that could have ended badly for the Riels as they start this breakout up onto the stick of McNaughton as McNaughton takes this out wide. McNaughton now trying to spin away from the pressure of the Royal Knights on their back check, but River East able to get possession of this and send this all the way out. So it'll be Ethan Alsop recovering this puck. Being challenged by Anthony Jacob, who Jacob almost gets possession of that puck on the forecheck. Turned over now by this Riels team in their own end as they tried to send this one out of their own end on a breakout. Turned over now onto the stick of Ethan Alsop as he breaks and loads up. Was Brzezinski on that one-timer shot, but wide of the net it went. Sent all the way out once again for this Royal Knights team. So they go off for a change. And the Riels leave this, as O'Sullivan came out of his own net, leaves this for Ethan Alsop. As the Royal Knights finally, once again, do get it out of their own end. As, giving chase on it was Padua. Gets in on the forecheck on Alsop to force a turnover. Alsop gets tied up on that wall down low, forces a turnover, and now the Riels send it the other way. Cross ice pass. That shot in, scores! Tic-tac-toe in front of the net, Sukit. As the power play just expiring for this Riels team, Sukit finds Brzezinski going back door. It's just a tap in for number 89 as this lead now extends out to 4-1 for this Riels team. With 14:52 remaining. Straw won by the Riels off of the goal. Deflected in by Lazarenko. DDD now into the skates of Walsh, and that pass went for the River East Royal Knights. Picked up in the feet by Ash as he tries to chip this in deep, but gets laid out instead by Keating. As all the way back down into the Royal Knights zone, banked off the boards, doing it to himself. It's number 2 and Allen as he takes out a linesman on the way through. So the linesman, she's okay, which is great to see. Sometimes a bit hard to avoid the officials, especially with how fast this game moves. Be McNaughton now out with that Riels top line to take the draw. He wins it, tying up Wallish, and threading the needle to McNaughton was Keating as McNaughton now lost space, decides to send this down low pass to Davis. Banks it up top to Keating as Keating works his way in. Spins around up top to Davis. Low shot turned aside by Wallishin. We are at even strength, by the way, if you were wondering. Game 4-1 in favor of this Riels team right now. If you are just tuning in, number 12, Reeves Sukit with a big night so far for this team. A goal and an assist at least. As turned over in tight. It's Davis up top, scores! Or cross crease that is to Trott. As this Riels top line connects again. Haven't been on the scoreboard as much today, but Davis with that good vision, good patience, threads one and feeds it. To the reliable Matthew Trott in front, who, he's putting those away. So good from in tight, as it is the Royal Knights taking a 30-second timeout here to calm some things down. You've been sloppy on your own end. This Riels forecheck is up the ante. That's really all you want to see. If you're Paul Castus on the Riels side, is seeing this team continue to play strong throughout the game, play a solid 60 minutes. It's going to come with its peaks and valleys. You're not always going to be at your top game throughout the 60 minutes, but if you can maintain a somewhat high-level play for most of it, and for today, a high-level play throughout of it, I think the Riels coach and his coaching staff should be pretty happy. And as for the Royal Knights calling this timeout, it's about settling things down. Don't worry about the score at this point. Just worry about working on your process here, right? You've lost 5 in a row to this point. You've shown some instances in this game where you've had some really good chances in the Riels zone. How can you get more of those as this game goes along and as this game comes to a conclusion? As loose puck picked up and possessed and turned over almost at the Royal Knights line. Did it get it in the stick lane there of Evan Lambert? Now it'll be the Royal Knights who break their way up. It'll be Lambert, though, who ends up losing his stick but closed off Frick on the way through. Jacob now trying getting that to the slot for Didick. Huge hit laid on by Bogue from Lambert. As along the wall now, Riels physical getting this puck out as it gets flipped. Opposite side, McKay first one to it, sends it all the way down for this Royal Knights team. Miller will be first on it for this Riels team as he stretches it up to Suket, who dangled through one Royal Knight before trying to send a pass through to a teammate but couldn't. Goes off for a line change at the point. The Riels just trying to send this in deep but can't. So he got sent all the way back into their own end where Brzezinski, the latest goal scorer in this game, will start to carry it up. Banks it off the boards, going in with speed. Calling for the puck back. Almost gets it back to him. That shot on net this time from, I believe, Carson Dubois, turned aside by Woloshyn. With 12:05 remaining in this third period of action. And for those of you that may be new to our mmjhl game day live streams, if you're wondering what level this is, not quite Manitoba Junior Hockey League level, but I do believe it's technically classified a bit of a higher level over Junior B. So this is a league where a lot of Junior A players have come to play, while becoming former Junior A players and then coming to play in this league. And there's even been some players that have spent time in the WHL that end up coming into this league. As that went off of the post. And for now, this game remains still 5-1, a 4-goal lead for the Riels. But this is more so a good league for if players want to focus more so on university, gives them more lenience, better schedule to work with, so they can still focus on school. Gives them the best ability to do that. So those are kind of the differences between, I guess, this league and a higher level of junior hockey. But thank you to everyone who's supporting our stream today so far. We hope that we see excitement to the end in this one. As 10:55 remaining, it's a 5-1 lead for the St. Boniface Riels, a team that started off 4-0, dropped their last 3, looking to get win 5 and back into the win column. As here, almost a nice dangle from Parker Carrolls, but a bit too far. Feeds a pass out to the side of the net, and it's wide of it. But a nice attempt there from this Riels team. Lazarenko now from the corner ends up sending this over top of the net. Down low, tried to receive a pass back, but Slobosian couldn't send it in deep enough. As Caden Woloshyn gets rubbed out along. Turned over now in the Riels. Boards off of the post and losing side of that puck. Still banging away at it. Or the Royal Knights. Just wish we had a closer broadcast angle for you there as Dubois taking Wallachin to the ice with him. Afterwards, O'Sullivan had no idea where this puck was. So it rattled off the post. This line of Wallachin, Glasson, and Ash making things happen down low for this team. So I believe it was Glasson who sent that out front shot from Ash that rings off the post. And it remains a 4-goal lead for now for this Riels squad. Ash has his stick taken away along the boards. Down low, it's Glasson who continues on with it. Gets it to Wallachin as Wallachin picks it up, surveying his options. Goes up top. There's a delayed penalty on the play here, too, coming up for the Riels. So it'll be a holding call, holding of the stick coming up. Giving this Royal Knights team some power play time for the next 2 minutes here. At the most, of course. It'll be Matthew Chalk going off for that. But a good shift from that line. Wallachin, Ash, as well as Glasson, getting to work on the forecheck. And that's something we've seen in spurts today from this Royal Knights team. We just haven't seen them consistently have that offensive zone time that is needed to get back in this hockey game. But maybe they'll have some more to work with here on the power plays. It's sent up Dela Cruz from the point. His shot can't get through. Evan Lambert tries sending it out, but fans on it in the corner. And down low onto the stick. And rubbed out along the boards there was number 12 in Richardson. Puck gets sent all the way out, as it'll force the Royal Knights to regroup and break up again. Draw pass sent onto the stick of a Royal Knight, as now it'll be Dela Cruz activating up. Gets taken out along the boards. The stick into his body of Keating. Keating gets a stick back. It's played up to the points for the Royal Knights, so they look to work this around. Rapadua sends it across, but that one off the mark to Lane Richardson. The only goal scorer in this game unloads and has that blocked. The only goal scorer for the Royal Knights, as I should say, in Lane Richardson. Is he still out there? Allen looked like he was going his way with the pass, but decides to hold on to it with 49 seconds remaining. That pass off of the stick of a Riel, as Keaton now recovers it in his own. And over to Slobosian, who sends this in to the Royal Knights end now, as Wallachin will be out to leave it for one of his teammates, as this gets sent to an outlet man with speed now. It's Logan Ash dangling through, but couldn't complete the dangle as he couldn't catch up to that nutmeg move into his skates. Now into the skates of Glasson, as he could not make anything happen with that puck with 16 seconds remaining in the Trot penalty. It'll be a draw pass, maybe one more break-in opportunity for the River East Royal Knights to get something set up, but this gets rimmed in all the way. Deep turnover. Force Jacob ends up getting it, pass up to the point now, and somehow on his knees was Ash. Couldn't get set to shoot that rebound shot, as we're back to even strength here. Once again, the loose puck around the Riels zone, but this Royal Knights team just can't quite make the most of their opportunities when those arise. As carrying it in deep, getting cut off now was a Riel, as the Royal Knights send this in deep. Cut it in, oh, dodging what could have been a brutal check on Wallachin, but he ends up being okay. Ends up skating all the way to O'Sullivan. He covered it up, as of course we got a stop and play here with 7:16 remaining. That could have been ugly for Caden Wallachin there, as he cuts to the inside. Forehand drag under the stick of that Riels defenseman. If he connected a bit better on that hit, it could have been knee on knee potentially, so he did almost lose balance. Picked up by Didick. It's now at the point. Wallachin contesting Number 18, and Keaton is Keaton at the point, holds this puck in, gets it to Brzezinski as Brzezinski works in around the net. Brzezinski up to the point to Slobosian. Slobosian played this in deep. Stick lifted the Riels. Number 89, I believe, Cole Davis in the corner. 88, that is Cole Davis, as he tries to unload this shot, as he did, high of the net. Slobosian at the point. Short pass. This goes to Brzezinski now as he dangles, protecting. Turns to the board. Spins around. Brzezinski to the slot. His shot turned aside by Wolishin. Slobosian. His shot turned aside. Rebound there. Oh, from in tight. Cole Davis couldn't quite put it away as the Riels continue to go to work. Sending this down low. An all-around surge here from this Riels team. Up to the point. Slobosian shot wide of the net. This finally does get out. Glove down by number 18. And Keating turned over at the Royal Knights line. Carson Dubois' shot gets blocked. Almost losing his balance. Getting back up is Keaton Wolishin now in his own net. As the Royal Knights have to regroup and look to break this out again. Faking one way, going the other. I believe it's Dela Cruz. Kicked it out to an outlet man, but still the Riels hold this in. Absolute domination on this forecheck, this offensive zone time, this cycle right now for the Riels as it's played over to Lazarenko. Gets it up top to the point. Lambert shot through and finally covered up by Keaton Wolishin. So that was about a 3-4 minute sequence of the Riels just getting in on the forecheck. Their D doing a great job holding at the line and getting shots towards the net. Setting up some nice passing plays too to create some movement on Wolishin. Number 1 been pretty solid in this game. Even though he's let up 5 goals, he's made some big saves. Evan Lambert tried sending that cross ice long. Picked off initially. Oh, nice dangle by Davis. Nutmegging a Royal Knights player. Now picked up by Ethan Alsop. Sent to the net. McNaughton to Davis. Davis misses just wide. So this ends up down low again. The top line for the Riels going to work. Ethan Alsop. He gets a shot through. Turned aside by Wolishin from the point. That shot came. Held in by Davis at the point as he came back to help. Sends it in the direction of Trott as he goes to battle with the Royal Knight. Allows for McNaughton to get a pass back to Lambert as he dragged to the middle. Turned aside by Wolishin. And sent out of play. The shots really did pile up in this one for St. Boniface with 4:16 remaining. Up 5-1, 42-22. The shots in favor of St. B. Second time we're seeing their jerseys this season. New jerseys for this Riels team at home. Not sure if they've had them in the past or not, but yeah, let me know in the comments what your thoughts on them are. Are you rocking with them or are you not rocking with them? I've said it once and I'll say it again. You either love them or hate them. You know, I'm at this point in the season on the fence about them. I feel like they grow on me more as the season goes along. But they've played really good in them today. Not sure if the jersey color matters at all. I don't really think it does matter. I think it's more of a superstition than anything. But today looking real good in them. Up 4 goals in the goal category, up 5-1 here. As that pass to the point split through everybody, there'll be an icing on the play. I don't think the refs understood or saw that that was a mispass from the Riels. Or maybe I'm blind and that was the Royal Knights who sent that down, but it seemed like it was just a mispass that made its way through the middle of the point men there, and turns out to be a break for this Riels team as they had an offensive zone face-off back inside of the Royal Knights zone as the puck finally out now. So onto the stick of Glass, and he's driving this down low, being disrupted by Ethan Alsop. Royal Knights get this to the point. It's in tight, and that save made Turned aside by the pads of O'Sullivan. As Ethan Alsop now goes cross ice. Caught by the backhand of Parker Carrolls. Gets that to Dubois. That kick out pass turned aside off the shot by Woloshyn. Off of that shot from number 66. And Aiden Lazarenko. Brzezinski will be out to take the draw. Tie up, won by the Riels from the point. That shot wide of the net. Off the stick of Slobosian. Slobosian regroups, recovers in his own end. That short pass intercepted and sent in deep into the Riels zone. Pass goes over the stick of Keating, or Slobosian that is, into the feet now. Cole Davis on the breakout attempt out at first. Now carried in by Brzezinski for this Riels squad. Brzezinski loses the puck in some traffic. It's down low into the corner for Jackson Filion. As Brzezinski now takes a bad spill into the boards. He's holding his head as both players remain down still. As we continue play here, Brzezinski now onto one knee. His head smack dabbed right into those boards pretty hard. Somehow remains out. As he looks kind of dazed going back to his bench. So it'll be Boak who takes the check-in. So it'll be skated out by the Riels. And skating in is Carson Dubois. Cutting to the net, drives there, takes the net out, and Woloshyn out in the process. As the linesmen come out to break it up. But yeah, going back to that play for Brzezinski where his head bangs into the boards, he spills into him. He was going down to help out Jackson Filion. Not sure who the Royal Knights player was, but he ends up being down on the ice, and Brzezinski just runs into him. His lower half gets taken out, and we see his head end up smacking into the boards. Hope he's all right. Currently standing on the boards, and I believe the team trainer is talking to him. Probably asking him the standard questions of, the concussion protocol. But I don't think we'll be seeing him again in this game today. They won't need him anymore either. Most recent goal scorer in this one. It's coming up on a minute remaining in this one, in this third period, brought to you by McKenna Fasteners and Tools. Royal Knights taking it away near the Riels bench, sent in to the Riels zone, is behind his own net. O'Sullivan out to keep it. To play it, as I should say, for his teammate. Will be turned over by the Riels now. Jacob now unloads his shot. That one whistled high of the net and rimmed all the way out into the neutral zone again with 36 seconds remaining. Cutting to the middle, it's Dela Cruz. Dela Cruz unloads the shot, rebound there over top of the net. Jacobs couldn't get a clean shot on, as that went by the wayside for the Royal Knights. 20 seconds to go on the clock now. Caden Woloshyn survives that bump, dodges it, tries going to the net, but good defensive stick from Miller, as Woloshyn in the corner gets 2-on-1. Anthony Jacob was out to help, but with 4 seconds left and into the final two, it'll be the Riels who are back into the win column this afternoon for the first time in 3 games. Moving to 5-3 on the season, and for the Royal Knights, well, the losing streak continues for them now up to 6. 5-1 the final here for the St. Boniface Riels, as we see them celebrate 23 saves made on 24 shots from Michael O'Sullivan this afternoon. Huge for his stats, but I think he's more so happy about his team being back into the win column. So we show you the final score here. Took a while for the score to open up. And once again, it was a big period let up. I mean, not as big as others, but 2-goal period let up in the third by the Royal Knights. They tie things up in that second. Of course, off of the stick of Lane Richardson. But yeah, just especially in that third period, it was the Riels who started to hem in this Royal Knights team, and the Royal Knights really had no answers for the relentless, strong forecheck and the strong board play that the Riels were showcasing in this game today. Yeah, of course, the Riels up 1-0 after the first in this one. It was Richardson who ends up tying it up. Then the Riels score two more of their own to lead 3-1 heading into that third period, and with domination in terms of puck possession. Not sure what the final shots were in that period, but 46-24 in favor of St. Boniface in this game. So they really ramped it up as things went along there, and that was due to them having good offensive zone time. And yeah, just playing a full, consistent 60 minutes of hockey and getting better as it went along. I think Paul Cassis and his coaching staff has to be really happy, and really happy with a guy like Riels Sukit, who came into today's game and made a huge difference in the lineup for Jack Smith. Yeah, I mean, this Riels team really got back to what's made them so successful to start off the year, and that's, doing a little bit of everything, right? Especially offensively with the puck, using your speed well to get in heavy on the forecheck, and using your speed well through transition. A lot of their first few goals in this game came off of the rush chances that this team had, based off of getting out of the zone efficiently in terms of their own end, building speed through the neutral zone and breaking in with numbers, and, we saw that benefit them a lot throughout this game. As for the River East Royal Knights, I did think that, offensively, them getting their chances, they had some high-end opportunities, but in their own end, just talked about the Riels hemming them in, being hemmed in this game, and not having the best puck management at times, and not quite being able to clear the zone, cost them in this game, especially in that third when maybe they were trying to fight back into it. That just wasn't the case for them in this game today, and a team that has a lot of young talent, some returning talent as well, but at the end of the day is really finding out, in this league, if you're not on the top of your game every single game against how skilled these teams are, you're going to pay, you're going to struggle, and for them, more so, especially as this game went along, they started to kind of lose the plot. I thought the Riels looked like the better team throughout today's game, and it showed over the course of these 60 minutes. But as for the players of the game today, we're going to go with the losing side to start off in the River East Royal Knights. I really liked what their captain was doing today, and Anthony Jacob created their one and only goal. Good forecheck from him, forced the turnover, a good wherewithal to, kick that pass over to a wide open Lane Richardson, which tied the game up. And yeah, outside of that goal, he was creating chances all night long with a heavy forecheck and digging out loose pucks in the skates, and just also doing a good job of intercepting pucks too and getting to lanes where, most of the turnovers that were forced off of his stick in tonight's game. So credit to him for stepping up and being big time today for this River East Royal Knights team in a losing cause. But as for the St. Boniface Riels, gonna give it to Avon Cockrell. He was all over the ice today with a threatening presence. Every time he had the puck, he was dangerous, looking to do something with it. He scored a goal in this game. He had some assists, and he was a big part in getting, a lot of these offensive chances going on the ice for his team when he was on. It seemed like when he came on, they got an extra boost of offense. Great protection of the puck, great poise with the puck, really creative, fantastic passer, and all of his tools, his skill set were put to good use today, this afternoon, for the Riels in their 5-1 victory. As O'Sullivan was big time in this game as well. But we're going to give the players of the game game, of course, as we just did, to Cockerell on the winning side for the Riels, and of course on the losing side going to Anthony Jacob for the River East Royal Knights. I've been your play-by-play commentator, Graham, the G Show Forsyth. We will end off with just score updates from around the rest of the mmjhl on this Sunday. 4 of the 5 games have been played so far. The Railer Express, of course, winning against the Raiders Junior Hockey Club. The Fort Erie Twins cruising to a 7-0 victory over the Stonewall Jets, along with the St. Vital Junior Victorias actually losing in overtime to the St. James Junior Canucks, as the Canucks came back to win it in OT, winning 4-3. Their big-time players stepping up this afternoon, and Neil, Romanek, Height, and Arneson all getting on the score sheet. Charleswood will be taking on the Pembina Valley Twisters tonight. So with that now, of course, St. Boniface gains a point in the standings. Or St. Vital gains a point in the standings, that is, even with the loss, as they move to 7-1-1. But with that, we see St. James jumping over River East in the standings and moving into that final playoff spot for right now. And for Charleswood, they had a chance to move into maybe a point within St. Vital, maybe 2 points. Well, now they have a chance to, move within 2 points. It could have been 4 points at that if St. Vital did end up widening that margin in the standings even more with the win. But it was the St. James Junior Canucks coming up huge with the win at home today. As for this game today, I already told you, 5-1, the victory for the St. Boniface Riels. Thank you to Terrico, McCann Fasteners and Tools, Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia, as well as Goaltenders for sponsoring another edition of this mmjhl game day coverage, as well as Terrico. Riels, the home side, back in the win column with a 5-1 win this afternoon. Thanks for watching, everybody. Until Thursday night in St. Vital, where we'll have the Vics taking on the Hawks this Thursday night coming up. We'll see you then. Have a good rest of your weekend and Sunday, and a wonderful start to your weekend. We'll, like I said, see you on Thursday, everybody.